Now, I know what a lot of people are going to say because I've heard it thousands of times. If you overhaul negative gearing, rents are going to skyrocket. Now, their reasoning behind this thinking is that if there is an incentive for landlords, there's less rentals available for renters, so there's more demand for rentals, which is going to surge the rent prices. Now, let's consider the validity of this belief. Statistics show that over 90% of properties that are negatively geared result from the purchase of existing properties. So less than 10% of negatively geared claims are for brand new housing. This shows that negative gearing does very little to increase the overall housing supply. So with that in mind, let's consider what would happen if you totally scrapped negative gearing. Someone goes to sell a property and there'd be less overall demand from investors because they can no longer claim any losses against their taxable income. So then who buys the house? Well, if an investor doesn't buy a house, then there's more opportunities for a first homeowner to purchase it. And if the first homeowner can't afford it, well then the seller may have to reduce the house price a little bit until someone's willing to pay the price. So just say a first homeowner household buys that property. That doesn't impact on overall rental supply because you've got one less rental household now who doesn't need to continue renting. In other words, if more people are able to afford their own home, there's less rentals that would be required. So there's absolutely no evidence, in my opinion, that overhauling negative gearing would negatively affect renters. In fact, I believe it would do the absolute opposite, because when you start to reduce speculative demand for property, investors become a lot more cautious and don't just bid any ridiculous price for houses, and that creates a more normalized housing market where houses are kept more affordable in general, and as a result, rents become a lot less volatile.